All right, let's talk about what's going on behind your walls. Today, we're going to pull back the drywall and really demystify all those complex, hidden systems that make your house a home. Let's jump right in.
Okay, picture this. It's the middle of the night. You hear a sound you never ever want to hear. Or maybe you just wake up and it is freezing cold. It's that moment of pure panic every homeowner dreads, right? So your first instinct is to grab your phone, start searching for help, but what you find can be even more confusing.
You get hit with this wall of technical jargon. What even is hydrojetting? A sewer ejector pump? Zoning control dampers? It's just this totally overwhelming list, and all you want is for the water to stop spraying everywhere or the heat to kick back on. It just feels like total chaos. But, it doesn't have to be so chaotic. We're going to bring some order to all this complexity. The trick is to stop thinking about your home as just a long list of potential problems and start seeing it for what it really is, a series of interconnected systems. Here's the key. If we start thinking of a house kind of like a human body, all those confusing terms, they suddenly start to make sense. Your home has a circulatory system, a respiratory system, and yep, even a nervous system. Let's start with the most fundamental one. Let's talk about plumbing, or as we're going to call it, your home's circulatory system. Seriously, just like blood in the body, water is constantly on the move. It's the lifeblood of your house, and its journey follows a very specific path. The whole life cycle of water in your home is basically a 4-step journey. First, it enters from the main supply. Then it gets heated up for you to use. Step 3, you use it at your faucets, in your appliances. And finally, it's expelled as wastewater. So let's zoom in on that second step for a sec. How exactly does the water get heated? Well, you've basically got a few options. You've got your standard tank heater, right? The big guy that keeps a huge amount of water hot 24/7. Then there are the more modern tankless heaters, like Navian models, which are super efficient because they only heat water right when you need it. And then there's this even newer tech, the heat pump water heater, which cleverly pulls heat from the air around it to warm the water. Now let's talk about that last step, getting water out of the house. In a lot of homes, a super critical piece of equipment is the sump pump. Its one and only job is to kick on the second that water starts to collect in your basement or crawl space and pump it safely away from your foundation. It's what prevents a flood. Models like the Zoller M53 are really the unsung heroes of a dry basement. And when that outflow system does get clogged up, we're way beyond the plunger these days. Technicians can actually use tiny video cameras to see exactly what the problem is and then use high-pressure water, that's hydrojetting, to just blast it clean. So that's how water moves. Now, what about the air you breathe? Okay, so if plumbing is the circulatory system, then your HVAC, that's heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, is totally the respiratory system. It's the lungs of your home, responsible for all the air you breathe inside and keeping you comfortable all year long. At its core, it's really a 2-part system. You've got heating on one side, furnaces, boilers, and cooling on the other, things like central AC or mini splits. But let's be honest, in a modern home, is it really just about the temperature anymore? Think about it. Modern homes are built to be super airtight to save energy. And that's great for your bills, but there's a catch. It can trap all sorts of stuff inside: pollutants, allergens, stale air. So a modern climate system has to do more. It has to manage the quality of the air, not just how hot or cold it is. So the solution is this kind of 3-part system for really managing your air quality. Humidifiers add moisture in the dry winter, ventilation systems bring in fresh air to get the stale stuff out, and these really advanced UV purifiers can actually kill viruses and bacteria in the air. So we have a circulatory system for water and a respiratory system for air. But what's in charge? What controls it all? Well, in a modern home, that's an increasingly sophisticated nervous system. A whole network of smart devices that monitor and automate how your home works. The most common part of this brain, and the one you've probably seen, is the smart thermostat. It connects your whole HVAC system to the internet so you can control it from anywhere. But even more importantly, it starts to learn your schedule and your habits to optimize comfort and seriously reduce your energy use. I mean, you've definitely heard of brands like Nest and Ecobee. But even the classic players like Honeywell and Aprilaire have these incredibly powerful options now. Just think of them as the command center for your home's lungs. Now here's where it gets really cool. What if the brain could also protect the circulatory system?
That's exactly what a smart water shutoff valve does. It's a device that gets installed on your main water line, and it just constantly monitors for any unusual flow, for any leaks. And if it finds a problem, bam, it can automatically shut off the water to the entire house. A great example is something like the Moen Flow. This one single device can be the difference between a small drip and a catastrophic flood. We're talking about potentially saving you thousands and thousands of dollars in water damage. This is where you see the systems really starting to work together. So, what does all this mean for the person you call when something goes wrong?
You might be wondering, okay, why does a company that fixes my leaky pipes also want to install my smart thermostat? And the reason is, as we've just seen, these systems aren't separate anymore. To properly maintain a modern home, you need expertise across multiple, highly specialized fields.
And this isn't just, a matter of preference. We're talking about legally required licenses. You need a plumbing license for the circulatory system, an EPA certification for the respiratory system, and an electrical license to handle the nervous system. Each one of those represents a deep and totally distinct skill set.
The takeaway here is pretty clear. The plumber installing your new smart water valve now needs to understand Wi-Fi networks. The HVAC technician setting up your smart thermostat is also kinda an IT specialist now. As the systems in our homes have merged, so has the expertise needed to take care of them. To really put this whole evolution into perspective, just look at this one data point. The village of Inverness, Illinois, which is where our source material is based, was incorporated back in 1962. The homes built then were, let's just say, they were vastly simpler than the homes being built there today. I mean, we went from simple shelters in the 1800s to what you might call the first modern homes around 1939. Widespread AC didn't really become a common thing until the 1980s, and now the expectation is a fully integrated smart system. The pace of change has just been incredible. So, the next time you adjust your thermostat from your phone, or you take a hot shower that's heated on demand, just take a second to appreciate that complex, interconnected ecosystem that's working silently behind your walls. It all leads to a pretty fascinating final question. Given all these systems working together, is your home's IQ actually higher than you think?